Welcome to Gulfstream today, everybody. Ron Nicoletti, along with track announcer Pete Aiello. It is Sunday in beautiful South Florida. We're starting our day with a good main track. We had some rain here last night, but the turf course needs the rain and is still listed as firm. And we want to let you know about a fantastic carryover we have today in the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 6, Pete, $248,000 plus.
Yeah, hard to gauge what they'll bet into it today, but you'll certainly get to at least $300,000 in the Rainbow Six. This is another situation where the sequence might lend itself to a jackpot hit here, as we have some competitive races here this afternoon, but that's been the rule rather than the exception the last few days here at Gulfstream Park. The turf course, as you mentioned, Ronnie, is firm. However, there's got to be some give in it a little bit because, as we saw yesterday, you could make ground on the turf course, which was good news for me, bad news for you.
Yeah, bad news for me. A couple of horses that were cruising on early leads did not make it, and we'll see how that plays out today. As I said, had a little more rain last night, so that good main track. Now we're going to go see what's out there in the Twitter sphere. A couple of tweets we want to show you about, and the first one is a horse that we all like a couple of times, Horse of the Year, Wise Dan. Looks like he's getting ready, and he's going to run in the Woodbine Mile. It'll be great to see him come back, Pete.
Yeah, certainly will. He's a heck of a nice horse and doesn't need any introduction, does Wise Dan. Be nice to see him go to Toronto, though, and take on that big sweeping turf course up there. It's definitely something that he's done in the past, so no reason to think he won't have success when he goes up north.
Yeah, talking about Woodbine just a little bit, when you ever go there, the turf course is on the outside and the main track is on the inside, and when you get there, it's just, when you look at it, you just can't get your eyes to adjust to it right. But the next one we want to talk about, Tweet, is a horse that went up to run in the Adirondack yesterday from the Ralph Nix barn, and boy, did not have a chance, just stumbled so badly at the start. I thought this horse had a chance to run really good in that spot. His debut performance here at Gulfstream Park went up there, and that's horse racing. He just about put his nose right in the dirt.
Well, Can Do will do again. We're looking forward to seeing him run back down this way. Can Do for Ralph Nix, one of the best 2-year-olds to run so far down this way.
Before we delve into this Sunday card, as I mentioned with the good main track, I'm going to go back and show you our feature race yesterday that Pete called. We're going to show you the stretch run of the Bonita, and a little bit of trouble there in the stretch run.
Yeah, trouble for not only the jockeys, but for the announcer as well. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm glad we don't have volume on this. But the two horses here, Do the Roar on the inside, Sing Another Song on the outside. They really put on a good show. Now, there was a disqualification here. You'll see the three, Do the Roar coming out, bumping Sing Another Song there. That was not so much the problem. The problem was the margin of finish there. They were only noses apart. You certainly have to think that this 5-horse in that race was cost more than a nose with the contact late into the stretch, so they flip-flopped the top two.
Yeah, they flip-flopped. Now, I totally agreed with it, and when you see the head-on part of it, it really, really did come out there. Now, it's a shame it was right near the wire, but still deserved to come down, so the congratulations to all the connections of Sing Another Song.
Well, how about Do the Roar, though? I mean, here's a horse that's 45 days ago was beating a mediocre field of claiming horses, and now he brings his game on stakes racing, and he brings it to a big level. So
yeah,
Do the Roar headed in the right direction. We have some horses in this division. Successful Native broke his maiden for 25. Do the Roar was in for 25. So it's a division where you can go rags to riches, and we have some examples of that yesterday.
That's the beauty of turf racing here in South Florida during the summertime. With our first race today, we contested on that good main track, 6 furlongs, claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $6,250. We have a jockey change in here on number 4, Make the Rider, Ramsey Zimmerman, and please scratch the number 5, CC in red. I went with the 3-horse in here, Pete, Toe Jam Football. This one moved to the George Navarro barn via the claim, makes the first start since defeating $10,000 claim is going a mile. But it was at Monmouth, and it was last June, but Navarro, he's 4 for 8. That's 50% with the graded and 180-day layoff. And another thing I like about this 7-year-old is training pretty nicely for its return from that extended layoff.
Well, I'm disappointed in you, Ronnie. I have to take out your book of handicapping prowess, and you take your pride on any horse off more than 365 days. You like to count the days. Do you know how many days this is?
No, I didn't count them this time here because I knew you'd be quacking like a duck and I wouldn't have time to say it, so I just put the 3 up there. Toe Jam Football. You did go with the horse head in second, Princess Appeal.
Yeah, Princess Appeal makes a rider switch back to Luca Panici. The only time he rode this mare, she finished second, closing ground in the deep stretch. I was really really confused in this race. I think the horse that's taking all the early money is definitely the one to beat in here, number 1, Dream Castle, off the claim for Donna Green. There was a time when Daniel Hertak off the claim, who's part owner with Donna Green, they do it together. That used to be better than first-time Lasix as far as the handicapping angle in South Florida.
Yeah, I did not use that one on my ticket. I went with the 2 Blue Temptation in third, who's stepping up against Open Company today. First start since defeating 6,250 non-winners of 2 lifetime acclaimers. Rashawn Creaky, he's good with this type of freshening, but I'm breaking one of your rules here by taking a horse that's stepping up from condition claiming into the open claiming ranks.
That's a huge rule, and a rule that I cannot change here today, so I will not include that one. I'll use the 4 underneath Good Song, price horse with a rider change to Ramsey Zimmerman.
And the reason I count days because when they're off longer than a year is because I already know the 365 is 1 year, so it makes it easy for me to figure out 2 months after that you just add 30 or 60 days, whatever it is. So not a math major, as you might guess. Second race today, 6 furlongs on this good main track. Maiden claimers, fillies, 2-year-olds, $50,000. I'm going to scratch the number. Not I am. They did. They scratched the number 6 in here, Baby Antonella. And we're in agreement here. You got nobody in first, but in second, you have the 4 who I have in top, and that's Nano Scratch. I guess you lost your top pick.
I lost my top pick. Baby Antonella was going to be right on top, but Nano's Crown is the likely favorite, and in my view, with the scratch, the likely winner in here. The question you have to figure out is just how deep you go in the other legs of the early pick 4. I think this is a solid single.
Well, Phoebe First is who I have in second. First Phoebe, I should say. Dropping, stretching out an additional furlong. Responded last time out to the addition of Lasix with an improved third place finish against special weight runners going 5/8 of a mile. Little drop down. Looks like it's moving in the right direction now that with the addition of Lasix. So I threw this one on the ticket. I know you had the number 2 in second.
Yeah, the 2 comes off a good 5th place run, closing ground in the late stages. Dorochenko's starting to get much, much better here. He's won 2 races this week already, and his 2-year-olds are oftentimes underrated. Ramsey Zimmerman takes over the riding assignment. This horse was 5th behind First Phoebe, who finished 3rd.
Well, talking about him getting hot, Barnett was really hot early on in the meeting. Now has slowed down a little bit, and that's Larry Pilati, and this is the 5 Tizalta, dropping into this high-priced maiden acclaimer after losing her best chance. She stumbled at the start of her recent outing against Nano's Crown, the horse I have on top. So up that performance, Larry Pilati, Prentice Harry Hernandez, boy, and he's been riding in great form.
Yeah, here's the thing about the main track being labeled good. You'll have an opportunity to see if there's any tendencies one way or the other. If speed is holding, then I think that the number 4 Nano's Crown is definitely the horse to beat and will probably win. However, if you can make ground on this course, especially with the 2-year-old races, the moisture does play a role.
Well, let's go to race number 3, and as we mentioned, we have the turf course today listed as firm, and this one is 7.5 furlongs, an allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares 3 and up. The claiming level is $25,000. We have a full field of 9 runners going to go to the post, and both Pete and I have number 8, Holiday Stroll, right on top of our ticket. We're in agreement here with almost the exacta.
Yeah, well, the Holiday Stroll is a horse that really brings her cards to the table each and every time. Draw a line through that race 2 back where she was on the main track. That's not her game. Last time out, she lost to Wild About Jazz, who came back to win again. And then Maydell, who won that race, is one of the most honest horses at the level here in South Florida. So Holiday Stroll, in my opinion, this is an easier field than she faced the last time. And I think she figures to trip out pretty well here today under Luca Panici.
Well, talking about the right level, that's what I think the 4 Queen, Like a Queen is dropping to this $25,000 optional claimer. Rallied to finish 3rd. It was against $75,000 optional claimers at a mile. Antonio Sano, who's in a tie for leading trainer here with Ralph Nick, spots up perfectly against this level of competition. I think they're a good spot for this horse.
I used them both. I actually, believe it or not, even though one of them is gray, I have a tendency to get these 2 horses' names confused. So to prevent that on the morning show, I figured I'd just use them both. The Fleet Mary, the 3rd play in there, they seem to run pretty well as a tandem when one's 3rd, the other one's 4th. So I figure they'll run well here this afternoon. Should correct myself. Jesus Rios takes over for Luca Panici on our top play, Holiday Stroll.
What about the 7 that's stepping up the competition today after notching 2 consecutive victories, defeating $12,500 claimers last time out? I think her current form, you sort of have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, she hasn't missed the exacta in her last 4 races. She's won 3 of her last 4. Certainly hard to argue with that. The key question is how does the class rise stack her up against these horses today?
Well, let's go to race number 4. It's a 6 furlong sprint. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, 6,000 $3,250. A select field of 6 runners, and I went with the number. Oh, looking at me. I went with the one Nocturnal Q. You went with the number 3 horse in here, and that is Golden Annie.
Yeah, well, it's pretty good that there's a select field of 6, and we have 5 of the 6 in our top 3. That's certainly something I don't think we can do.
I didn't say we selected
tried.
the right ones. I just said it's select field.
Well, Nocturnal Q is the likely favorite, and she probably by rights is going to win this race. But for me, I didn't see any speed in here at all. So I think Venom Girl is going to be on the speed. I don't know if she can hold sway, but she made my ticket on the bottom. I think Golden Annie figures to trip out pretty well in here. She's been working well since coming to South Florida. She's been laid up since February, but she does face a field here this afternoon that's pretty easy to make her South Florida debut. Ramsey Zimmerman riding for Leo Gabriel. I'm going to go with the unknown quantity in this race.
Yeah, well, I had that horse in second, but I did go, as I mentioned, with the number 1 Nocturnal Q. He's dropping to this level today, rallying to finish a distant second. That was against $12,500 2 lifetime claimers at this same 6 furlong distance. Alejandro Maimo is the trainer. Jose Alvarez handling that inside post this afternoon. Just thought on the drop, and he was the logical choice. But 9-5 is a little tough to take on that horse because I have a couple of questions about it. I would understand why you would want to put Golden Annie on top of your ticket. The other horse I use in here is the number 2, and that's Ataquichi, I think it's pronounced. It's a tough one.
What was that again? Because I've been told I've not been saying this correctly.
Ataquichi.
Okay.
Right?
Well, we know you're the master pronunciation, so...
Well, I got it right, I think, that time. This, if you don't know what that means, this is an Indian that discovered alligators here in South Florida. It's a candidate for a rebound performance after following a third-place finish against this caliber competition on July 23rd. Poor showing against 2 lifetime foes last time out. Bounce rebound.
Rona Daytona is a horse that comes off the turf course. I have nothing more to add to what Ronnie's already mentioned here in this race. Rona Daytona, the main track not being fast, that's very good news for Rona Daytona. She likes some moisture in the racing surface, gets off the turf. For me, she's a viable alternative to the top pair.
Once again, we have the feature race as the 5th race on the card today, and this one 5 furlongs on the turf. This is for 3-year-old fillies, $75,000. It's the summer wins. We got a full field of 10 runners. Want to go back and show you performance of a horse I know you like in here, and that is Courtly Lark.
Well, I just wanted you to see what happens when a horse tries something that she's never done before. Yes, these were against maiden special weight horses, but look at Courtly Lark. She's launching her bid 3 wide on the outside, and she's just going to keep right on motoring here, as you can see. She's got her ears cocked. Castro's not asking for much. She comes into the stretch, collars the leaders, and then kicks clear. Courtly Lark had never been 5/8 over the turf. She had a pretty good resume in the special weight ranks, going longer on the grass, but she just couldn't seal the deal. So maybe they found what she wants to do, which is sprint and come from off the speed on the turf. Now, the key question with Courtly Lark is, can she handle the competition? That competition herself has a big question mark. It's our top pick in the race, and my personal favorite horse that runs in South Florida, Huasca. But does she take to turf?
Well, she had that one work on the turf for Crosstown at Gulfstream Park West, and we talked to Efren Loza the other day, Ed Gray did, and he said this horse, when he was growing, was on the farm, ran on turf courses, just ran out in the fields, seems to handle it, so the class of the class in here, so the number 10 horse on top of both of our tickets, and we both have the number 4, Katie's Kiss. This is a pretty interesting horse, third in this $60,000 Tiger Literally at this distance, that was back on June 6th, turning back, after dueling for the lead and finishing second, last time out going 7.5 furlongs. So this horse in great form right now, and I know the barn is very high on its chances.
What about the race 2 back? She's third, beaten 2 lengths to Our Free Roll and Fascinante. If she runs that race back, she'll get a slice of this, potentially a big slice of it, if Huasca doesn't take to the turf. The other thing with Huasca here, and again, I love her. She's my favorite horse on the grounds, but this is not exactly an optimum scenario, trying 5 furlongs over the turf. A, I don't think of her as a 5 furlong horse, and B, if she is, it's probably not on the turf. C, she's got a 10 post as the likely favorite. There are definitely some chinks in the armor.
Yeah, and basically when you're talking, there's not many stakes races for 3-year-olds, straight 3-year-olds at this time of the year, so maybe that also pointed them to try the turf with this horse this time because it gets that race. I also used the 7 Lady Master getting a class check after returning from a freshening to post her second consecutive victory, $30,000 condition claimers. Marcial Navarro, just think this is a sneaking race. I'm not sure he can run with this level of competition, but a horse you might want to put somewhere on your ticket if you're betting an exact or a trifecta, along with the number 8 Courtly Lark, because that was a pretty nice performance we just saw from that horse.
Yeah, I think Courtly Lark might get overlooked in the wagering too, so she's a horse that can get a slice of this at a big number.
And we mentioned this sixth race here is where the Rainbow Six starts with over $248,000 already in the pool, and Pete and I are pretty sure it'll be way over $300,000 today, so you can win that for 20 cents if you happen to have that one unique ticket. 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-olds. We do have one jockey change on the number 6. The rider is Esmial Jaramillo, and we want to go back and show you the performance of the number 7 horse in here, and that is Night Rhythm, who I have on top of the ticket. Pete, you have in second.
Yeah, Night Rhythm, here's what you got to take into consideration. Dream of Me is the horse that's on the engine here right now under Eduardo Nunez. There's Night Rhythm in the red cap moving to him on the outside. Now, at this point, at even money, Night Rhythm confidently handled. You think he's going to collar Dream of Me and run away with this, but Dream of Me has something in reserve under Eddie Nunez, kicks back to win it. You'll see that in just a few seconds. Night Rhythm, every opportunity to get by, but Dream of Me said no, sir, to Night Rhythm. Now, why is that relevant? Well, this same horse that beat Night Rhythm, Dream of Me, came back and did the exact same thing in the Florida Sire Stakes, was hooked every jump, kicked back to win the race. So you're looking at a stakes winner up top and Night Rhythm holding second.
Yeah, and that was the Dr. Fager division of the Florida Sire Stakes, so Night Rhythm on top of my ticket. But, Pete, you went with the number 2 Drama Club, who's the son of Big Drama, really working nicely.
That's the key part of this. I mean, you got so many 47 drills. You have a 47-second flat out of the gate work out there. I think they're tipping their hand with the tactics anyway. Eddie Castro on a 2-year-old for Dave Fox by Big Drama. Go, and go some more. I think if this horse does clear to the top, he'll have a hard time losing, I think, in this race, because Golden Pirate will be accompanying him early. He's one of the main morning line favorites. So if the 2 is the speed of the speed, which I think is the case, I'll take him on top. If he happens to hook Golden Pirate, it sets it up for Ronnie and Night Rhythm. Either way, Golden Pirate a 2-1 vulnerable morning line favorite.
I threw the 1 and 2, and that is Abercorn, a half-brother to a stakes winner called Argentine Tango. Going to wear blinkers this afternoon after showing some late interest when running fourth behind Night Rhythm. That was back on July 12th. Stanley Gold, Jesus Rios. Stanley Gold with these, 2-year-old runners. You always got to pay attention. I like the equipment change today. And the inside draw is my only little concern, but I think the blinkers might help this horse just go get out of that gate and be right there at the wire. I don't know if we can beat the top 2 we were talking about, but a horse that I'm going to definitely throw on my trifecta ticket and use on my Rainbow Six ticket. You went with the number 5, Union Vow, in second.
All I'm going to tell you is this. If you had told me June 15th that we would be on August 16th and Union Vow was still a maiden, I'd have bet you substantially and I would have lost. This horse was very well regarded just a few months ago, thrown to the wolves in the stakes, second start of his life, and didn't fire last time. He's better than that. He has a big chance today.
Well, let's go to race number 7, 1 mile and 1/16th on the turf. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or 3-year-olds, $12,500. Scratch the 6 in here and the number 10, and I went with the number 8, Dreamin' of Clarice, and this one moved to the Rodolfo Garcia Bonvita claim after notching his second consecutive turf victory versus this caliber competition, going 7.5 furlongs. The only concern for this 3-time winner is this 0 for 5 record at this distance. 5 races, no wins, no seconds, but 3/3.
Well, certainly he's better now than he was then, so I wouldn't worry so much about the distance record. You have a tactical decision if you're Eddie Castro in here, because the horse on the outside and my top play, Louis the Brawler, he's going to get the lead. He's aptly named. He'll brawl you for the lead. He might not be able to hold on, but in my opinion, they would be well advised if you're dreaming of Clarice to try to sit off of Louis the Brawler. Bonaccord is the wild card in here as he set the tempo off a long layoff last time. Short of those 2, Louis the Brawler can make the lead here, and a course that's less than super firm, I guess you could call it. I think Louis the Brawler stands a big chance in here. I think he's a horse that, for me, from a pace standpoint, he gets an easier time of it today.
One of the horses that you have in second, I actually have in third, is Giant Cat. This one is devoid of any early speed when breaking from the rail in consecutive races, but he looks like he'll be closing best of all in the stretch. It looks like he'll need that pace. So if something explodes and it's a hot pace up front, this guy might reap the spoils.
Absolutely. That's why it was my second play. I think the course will suit him well. Giant Cat from far back, as Ronnie mentioned. He has a tendency not to win. He's 2 for 30, but he's in a good spot here.
What'd you think about the two in there, Fancy Henry, who I put in second? I think we're ready to offer more coming from the Wesley Ward barn. He's really good, second off the layoff, almost 30% with second off the layoff. I think this horse has some upside. Prentice John Cruz, starting to ride better and better, John Cruz. I've been watching him over the last couple of days.
Well, here's something you won't know unless you watched our racing card yesterday. The winner of his last race for all the marbles stepped up in a big way and won nicely yesterday against Much Better.
Let's go to race number 8 today. 5.5 furlongs, maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and up, $10,000. Scratch the number 3, Tito Time, and there is the number 8 horse, number 4 horse in here, will race with blinkers on this afternoon. So race number 8, Pete, you went with the number 2, Awesome Union.
Absolutely. He reminds me a little bit of Handpicked, also from the same connections of Jack's Better Farm and Stanley Gold, in the sense that he's had plenty of opportunities to get that elusive first victory and hasn't done it. However, this is the best spot he's ever had to do it because there is no speed in here. Rodney Sudin will be on the lead with Awesome Union. It's just a matter of whether he can seal the deal. The only question I have with Awesome Union, I'm not even really worried about the 5.5 furlong journey. I'm worried about his ability to just rate a little bit. It seems like this horse is just so headstrong, he has to go really, really fast to the opening quarter. I need like 22 and 3 speed from him, and he's all over a winner in here because they just won't be able to stay close enough early, and he'll have enough left in reserve.
And if you just glance at his past performances, as you mentioned, Pete, this is the easiest spot he's ever been in. I got him on a ticket, but I like the number 7. We actually have the same trifecta, just different order. Indie Artist is turning back to the distance we've been talking about. 5.5 furlongs, duel for the lead, got Peter Neck versus similar opposition, going 3/4. I thought he was a logical choice to be on the ticket, but I'm going at least 3 deep in here.
Yeah, well, Awesome Union 2 races ago lost to Right On Ready and Mitos and Leyendas. Right On Ready came back to beat a strong field of Non-2. Mitos and Leyendas then came back to break maiden, and oh, by the way, won yesterday. Why is that relevant? Well, Indie Artist lost by a neck to Mitos and Leyenda, who came back to win. Starship Menace was behind Indie Artist, who is both of our second choice here.
And he's wearing those blinkers today, so we'll see if that is a help for him in race number 8. Let's go to race number 9, and this one is back on the turf, 1 mile and 1/16, and we have 10 runners in the field, and I went with the number 9 in here, Pete, Famous Sting, a 2-time turf winner since moving to the Marcial Navarro barn on April 24th, a 3-time turf winner overall, stretching out to 1 mile and a 16, drew away last time out to beat 3 lifetime claimers, but won that race very impressively.
Well, here's a race where I'm trying to beat the 9-horse Famous Sting and the 10-horse Starship Jody. Ronnie uses the 9 and 10 right on top. That doesn't surprise me. Famous Sting is stepping up in class. Here's the reason why I don't like either the 9 or 10. It's simply the weather. I think the way the turf course has been playing, certainly the 9, Famous Sting, will have to prove it to me that she likes that. The 10-horse Starship Jody is a little bit of a different story. If you go back and look at Starship Jody, her last 6 races, she is an absolute 100% good-bad horse, and this is the bad part of the cycle.
And, Defying Gravity, who you have in second, was a 10-1 upset winner at this level back on June 30th.
I think this horse will like a little bit of cut in the ground today. Harry Hernandez has the call. He got acquainted with this filly last time out. She should trip out pretty well on what I think will be a fairly contested early pace. Fair Shake is my top play in the race. She takes a substantial step up in class, but I like the way she's turned her game around since switching to the turf. If you had told me a few months ago that Fair Shake would be able to go long on the grass and come from off the pace, I would have lost that bet too. A lot of side bets I would have losing.
You would have lost a lot of bets. You took the words right out of my mouth. Let's go to the late Daily Double, which is races 10 and 11. If Pete bet you that the late Daily Double was races 10 and 11, he would have finally won a side bet. 5.5 furlongs, maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up. Scratch the 4, scratch the number 6 horse. How's my gold? I'm not asking that question. I'm telling you that's the horse I picked. Stepping up, turning back, posting the best last race. If you are a buyer aficionado of 62, he stalked the pace. He finished second as the favorite. $25,000 maidens going 7/8. It was on a sealed, sloppy track. We definitely have some moisture in the track today. Kathleen O'Connell, Luis Figueroa in the saddle.
Well, I think the cream will rise to the top here. We used the same 3 horses, a little bit different order. Look into my eyes. First start off an extended vacation. I love Loza off the layoff. I love Loza first time. This horse has been working very, very well. Finished third last time out to Adachi and Divine Aida. Divine Aida came back to win not once, not twice, but 3 times, including a stakes victory during the champions meeting. The second choice for me is 5, Pretty Indiscreet. Set good pace last time out, looked home and cooled, and got a little bit leg weary in the late stages. This horse is a half to a horse who just won a few days ago. Pardon me, I don't remember her name. However, I do certainly remember that her mother was Picture Me with Roses, and that is also the sire of number 5, Pretty Indiscreet.
Well, look into my eyes, as you mentioned, Divine Ida. She came back, and Divine Ida won the Ginger Brew, I believe, and Here Comes the Bride. Then went into graded stakes competition. Didn't fare as well, but a really nice horse. And as you mentioned, Efren Loza Jr., fantastic job off the layoff. So that is how we basically are in agreement in the 10th race, even though it kills Pete to admit that.
Well, here's one thing we should tell the fans, though, before I get to the changes. The 6-horse Chosen Road is scratched out of race number 10. That takes a lot of sting out of the early pace.
Well, let's go to race number 11, our final one for the week, and this one is on the turf. It's maiden special weight 3 and up. We got a couple of jockey changes in here. On the 1, it's Pedro Cotto Jr., and on the 9, it's Hadi Hernandez, and we're not going to make it easy on you to try and hit the super high 5 because we got a field of 11 in the last race. Pete, I went with the 2, Boca Scuttlebutt, turning back to a mile after coming within a neck of notching the elusive maiden victory, going a mile in the 16th. It was on a good turf course last time out. Steve Dwoskin, Juan Laver in the saddle. Right in my analysis, you heard elusive maiden victory.
Well, Boca Scuttlebutt is a horse that falls into the category of when he wins, I lose. He's been proven to have an opportunity to get that diploma, hasn't done so yet, but that's the same story for a lot of horses in here. So I went with the fresh face from the barn of Mark Casse. Mark Casse has not run many horses in the summer meeting here at Gulfstream Park. Hey, sire, a son of More Than Ready, first time on turf, at a bit of a price. I'll sign me up for that. Tyler Gaffleone has the call.
Yeah, I mean, there's intriguing possibilities. A $230,000 gelded son of More Than Ready, and it looks like he came from Ocala. He's got a couple of works on up at Palm Meadows, shipping down Mark Casse, as you know, excellent trainer, one of our top trainers here during the winter stanza. So number 6 Showdown. I like this horse today. I don't know what to expect from him. As you're saying, he's coming down. He hasn't run here before. The 3rd horse I used, Pete, was Patrick Joseph, cutting back to 8 furlongs today after rallying to finish 3rd behind aforementioned Boca Scuttlebutt in their recent clash at the mile in the 16th. Dennis Manning, as I mentioned, that's where Pedro Cotto Jr. is going to ride. Inside post today. I like Boca Scuttlebutt, so I sort of had to put the 1, Patrick Joseph, on the ticket because that's how I handicapped the race.
Only other thing I have to add to this before we tell you good luck is the 3, Overseer, makes his first start off of a bit of a vacation. It is the 3-year-old grow-up angle. This is his first start as a 3-year-old. He was keeping decent company over the last couple of races. He could be ready for Phil Gleaves.
Phil Gleaves, the 5th Beatle. So we'll see. That was always the joke we had together. So that's how we see the 11 race card today. Pete, I want to thank you for filling in this week. You've been a fantastic job filling in for Katie, and when she'll be back on Thursday, I'm sure she'll thank you for doing a great job.
Well, I'm certainly happy to help out, and good luck today on today's Rainbow Six.